Satele Shan hid the birth of her own son so well that when he finally tracked her down as an adult, she had no idea she was talking to her own child. Before we get to that, before Satele becomes a mother who repeats her own mother's mistakes, before she becomes Grand Master of the Jedi Order, she was raised by an order that had already exiled the woman who gave birth to her. Satele comes from the Shan bloodline. And if you want a film comparison, think of it as the Old Republic's answer to the Skywalkers. Multiple generations, majority force sensitive and powerful at that, all tangled up in the same recurring problem: attachment. The Jedi Code says let go. The Shan line, generation after generation, can't. Satele's mom, Tasiele, began openly challenging the Order's stance on marriage and attachment, which tracks once you know she came from a multi-generational, force-sensitive family herself. This wasn't new territory for her bloodline, and the Order didn't agree. Tasiele was exiled to an unnamed world in the Outer Rim. Here's the part that stings. By the time she was exiled, Tasiele already had a daughter, Satele, who stayed behind, raised inside the Order, on track to become a Padawan. Mother and daughter split by the same rule Satele would end up breaking herself years later, in almost the exact same way. When the Order eventually returned to Tasiele's exile world, she was gone. All they found were her journals, written for a daughter she'd been separated from. So Satele grows up inside the institution that exiled her mother. Her childhood master was Nagani Zho, a name to remember, because he comes back later, at the worst possible moment. As she got older, she trained under Battle Master Kao Cen Darach, who taught her to fight with her signature dual saber, and guided her through the trials that made her a Jedi Knight. Kao Cen Darach and Satele were both on Korriban when the Sith returned to reclaim it. He didn't make it out. He was killed by Darth Malgus. One master lost, and it would not be the last. The war didn't stop for Satele's grief. Years after the Sith retook Korriban, she was sent to Alderaan to support the Republic forces there. And that's where she crossed paths with Havoc Squad, and with one soldier in particular, Jace Malcolm. Soldiers had a way of falling for Satele, and Malcolm wasn't the only one. Heron Tavis would later develop feelings for her too, but Malcolm is the one who got through. Satele resisted at first. Jedi aren't supposed to have this problem. But after the Battle of Alderaan, resistance wore down, and for about 6 months, she and Malcolm had a relationship they kept secret from everyone. Then it ended, and sometime after it ended, Satele realized she was pregnant. She never told Malcolm. She hid the pregnancy, and she hid the birth of their son, Theron, so thoroughly that to this day, official Republic records list him as a rumor, a name people whisper, not a confirmed fact. She sent him away almost immediately, to the one person she trusted completely, her own childhood master, Nagani Zho. Think about what that means for a second. Satele's mother lost her daughter to exile. Now Satele gives up her own son, by choice, to protect a secret. Same bloodline, same pattern, different reasons, same result. A parent and child kept apart. Nagani Zho raised Theron from 6 months old. Theron trained to become a Jedi himself until the Order discovered he wasn't force sensitive. So he found his own path, eventually joining Republic's Intelligence Strategic Information Service instead. And Satele didn't keep tabs on any of it, and we know this because of what happened when Nagani Zho died. Theron, now an adult, a stranger to her in every way that mattered, came to Satele in person to deliver the news that his master, her old teacher, had passed. She had no idea she was talking to her son. That's not a footnote. That's the cost of the secret she'd kept for over 2 decades, delivered back to her in a single conversation. After losing Kao Cen Darach, Satele was reassigned between several masters before finally landing with someone very different from anyone she'd trained under before, Master Dar'Nala, a political strategist and diplomat. Where Kao Cen Darach had shaped her as a warrior, Master Dar'Nala shaped her as something closer to a negotiator. Dar'Nala led the Republic's side of the peace talks on Alderaan, both during and after the sacking of Coruscant, pushing for a treaty she was trusted to broker. Except, she didn't believe in it. After the Treaty of Coruscant was signed, it came out that Master Dar'Nala had been secretly working to unravel the peace from the inside, deliberately causing disturbances meant to reignite the war and finish off the Sith Empire for good. Dar'Nala had to be stopped by her own former Padawan, Satele, together with Heron Tavis and Jedi Knight Fortress, tracked her down on Dantooine and put an end to it, preserving a peace that Dar'Nala herself had tried to destroy. But notice the shift. With Kao Cen Darach, something happened to Satele. She lost a master to an enemy she didn't choose. With Dar'Nala, Satele acted. She stopped the threat herself. That's the difference between the Padawan she was on Korriban and the Jedi she'd become since then. After stopping her master, Satele followed a pull from the Force itself, a pilgrimage that led her to rediscover Tython, the long-lost homeworld of the Jedi. That discovery, and everything that led to it, earned her the rank of Master and eventually Grand Master of the Jedi Order. The same order that exiled her mother for the very thing Satele herself would be doing. The same order that never knew about her son, led now by a woman built entirely out of secrets and losses she never let anyone see.